All right, so the next thing that I'd like to add to my scene is some particle effects, sort of representing maybe a little bit of a spray that's coming off of this waterfall in the background. So that being the case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and add a mesh. I'll just do a sphere. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it and I'm just going to move it back a little bit. This is basically going to be the source of the particles. And I'll scale it. Let's see. I'm going to scale it down a little bit just so that it's partially obscured and sort of hidden. Not a big deal. So now what I'll do is I will go to make sure I'm on particles for with that object selected, and I'm just going to add particle effects. And there we go, kind of. All right, so let's make some changes to that. I think, well, here's the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create yet another object yet. So I'm going to do Shift A. We'll add another UV sphere. I'm going to grab it and move it back here somewhere where it's out of sight. And now with the initial sphere, actually, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and name these things. So sphere 0, 0, 1, we'll call that droplets. And the sphere that is the source of the particles, we will call spray. All right. So with spray selected, I think the next thing that I'm going to do is, let's see, velocity. Yeah, I'm going to go down to render. And instead of halo, I'm going to change it to object. And I will select the droplets so that it mimics those more specifically. All right, so that's nice, but it's more like a bunch of little bouncing balls, and I want to give it a little bit more, have a little more control over this. First of all, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the gravity. So under field weights, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take that gravity down quite a bit. Yeah, so that's better. I'll probably have to come back and play with that a little bit. So then I think under velocity, let's go ahead and make some changes there. So I want this to kind of be kind of shooting out from the waterfall on Y a little bit. So under velocity, I'm going to adjust the Y, feet per second, and we'll just see what we get. Let's get it from a side view. And actually, let's hide the water back for the moment. So let's go ahead and go back to my Y. And let's just take that up a bit and see what we get. Give it a minute. All right. Let's go more. Okay, so let's take this item and we'll rotate it around. So let's just do, oops, not on Y. I was thinking Y because I was adjusting on Y. Rotate it on Z, 180 degrees, so that it's kind of shooting out towards my bag. Okay, so now I think I'm going to just play around with the normal a little bit and see what we get there. No, that's a little too crazy, so I'm going to really take that down back to where it was, or maybe I'll even try going smaller. And then I think tweak the Y a little bit yet. Maybe back down somewhat. All right, cool. I think under emission, let's increase this a bit. Let's take this up to maybe, I don't know, 5,000. Yep, so we get more of a surging spray. And life, so we're getting this bouncing that's happening. And I'm kind of envisioning this just coming out as sort of a spray that's hitting the ground and sort of maybe absorbing into the cavern floor. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lifetime down. Instead of 50, let's just take this down. That's too much, I think. I want it so that the particles are kind of making contact with the floor, dissipating right as they get to that range. So let's just kind of take that up. Yeah, something more like that, maybe. Again, one of those things where we can kind of play with the values as we go. Now, one thing, too, is that's looking pretty uniform, and I think I want to randomize this. So let's go down here to randomize, and I'm going to just take that up a little bit to see what we get. There. Yeah, something like that. Awesome. And now I think I might make a few more adjustments. So actually, let's grab the source object, and I'm going to scale this down a little bit because particles should be small. Yeah, there we go, something like that. And then let's see what happens if I apply a material to this as well. So we'll go ahead and add the drip material and see what happens there. And if I turn the water back on, very subtle, so I'm going to have to play with this a little bit, but you can certainly see that there's this extra noise happening in the background as if there's a spray. So I'll make a few more adjustments before moving on. Let's go back to my spray. And maybe what we do is really crank that number up. Maybe let's double it and see, instead of 5,000, if there's 10,000, how much of a difference that makes. And maybe we do something with the material too to differentiate it a little more. So maybe I'll make an adjustment to the material and see what that gets us as well. But I think that can wait. I'll play around a little bit with these settings and tweak it a little bit. But I do think that starts to do a little bit of what I want.